All right,
Yeah,
7:30.
I think it's 7:30, so we're going to begin. My name's Ryan Hamilton, and I'm the tech support for the Rotary 5030 program called Summer Youth Exchange, a life-changing adventure. And I'm with University Sunrise, and our presenter today is Hal Beals, and he's also a member of my club, University Sunrise, and Hal is it's a great title. He's the Youth Exchange Chairman for District 5030. So a couple, before Hal goes into his program, I'll just cover a couple of housekeeping items. And if you've been to these sessions before, then you've probably been through all this. And I would recommend listening to what you heard on previous sessions rather than my session, because this is the first one I've done here. But first of all, it's important to remember the vision of Rotary, and every one of these programs is a reminder what we're involved in. And the vision is, together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. So for asking questions, this is what you have on your screen. There's a little chat button and a raise hand button and a Q&A button. And so Q&A seems to work the best. And go ahead and fire your questions as they come up. And I may or may not interrupt Hal. And then at the end, we'll certainly get to all the questions. So I think with that, are you ready to begin, Mr. Beals?
Very good. Thank you. And thank you everybody for joining on this this program. This is Youth Week during our wonderful training festival. For those of you who were lucky enough to log in earlier, you saw a wonderful presentation about Interact and how to get involved with Interact. And so I'm here for Rotary Youth Exchange, and I have really been kind of given the perfect segue into our talk about Youth Exchange because of Interact. Our experience has been, and around the world, Youth Exchange experience has been that Interact is the best source of applicants and foreign exchange students in our Rotary program. So we are very fortunate in this district to have 23 Rotary clubs. 20 Interact clubs, I meant to say, 20 Interact clubs. And going forward to build our Youth Exchange program, we're going to be concentrating our efforts on recruiting Interact members to consider Youth Exchange. And my goal here today is to encourage clubs who are not currently active with Youth Exchange to become active. And we're going to use our short-term program, or our summer program as we call it, to help you deliver to students in your neighborhoods a life-changing experience. That's an often overworked term, but I can tell you from my not 9 years, but 6 years at Rotary Youth Exchange, where I've met hundreds of Rotary Youth Exchange students from all around the world and from the United States, I can tell you it is a life-changing and a life-directing experience for them and for their families. It is really a remarkable program, which has gone on since 1928, as you can see. And every year since then, some 8,000 students are moving around the world. There are 96 countries that participate in Rotary Youth Exchange. And our district at 5030 has relationships with most of them. So it's not hard for us to find an exciting summer vacation, if you will, for students from our district who want to have this really life-changing, life-altering, and life-affirming experience for Rotary Youth Exchange. There are two parts of Youth Exchange, as you may know. There's a long-term academic year program, which has been around for many years. And now there's a short-term summer program, which is basically a 2-month exchange cycle 1 month in one country and another month in another country, like the home country. So we're calling that the summer program. It is a relatively easy program for Rotary clubs who are not currently active in Youth Exchange to become active with. It's easy for clubs because there's no schools, no school problems, no visa hassles, and no cost to the club. So easy to get into, easy to administer, and District 5030's Youth Exchange Committee will help you every step of the way. So I hope this program will embolden you to reach out, to make a contact with me so we can help your club enjoy the enriching experience of Youth Exchange. Next slide, Ryan. So why should my club get involved? You know, everybody says it, it's true that the youth of today are the future of tomorrow's Rotary. It goes without saying. And these are the key things that we believe about Youth Exchange. You should get involved because Youth Exchange kids are natural peace ambassadors. They come from other countries, they're coming to our country. You're going to be building relationships with them, they with you, that can last a long time. And friends around the world can get along, and the chances of conflict are greatly reduced. Rotary is big on peace. We know we have peace scholars, we have peace universities, but Rotary Youth Exchange, in its own humble way, is the longest running peace affirming program in Rotary since 1928. Rotary wants to build relationships around the world, goodwill and understanding. Rotary Youth Exchange that's what they do. That's what we do. Look at these kids in this picture here. They're from different countries, and they are friends, and probably friends for a long, long time to come. Rotary Youth Exchange helps develop young people into leaders, as we'll see in a few other slides. The number of Rotary Youth Exchange students who aspire to leadership positions in Rotary clubs around the world is legendary. We don't see it so much in our district, but I can tell you in other districts, the people who are leading those districts often were Rotary Youth Exchange students, and you certainly see it globally. The incoming president for Rotary International was a Youth Exchange student, and it was his first experience at Rotary through Youth Exchange. Definitely, you will change the student's life going forward. I have seen every kid that I've met through Rotary Youth Exchange has told me after their exchange that it has changed their perspective on the world, it has changed their perspective on their own capabilities, and it has increased their ambitions and focus in their lives. And of course, one day, these Rotary Youth Exchange students will hopefully go through Rotaract, and they'll become full-fledged members of Rotaract clubs and Rotary clubs. There's just no doubt about it. So that's why I think your club, if you're not involved now, let's get you involved. It'll be a wonderful experience for you, and will help you all along the way. Next slide, Ryan. We have a video here. This is an actual Youth Exchange student, came to us a couple of years ago from Brazil. She was on the academic year program. This is filmed right after her exchange. She was still here in Seattle. She was interviewed by my wife, Susan, and this is a further advertisement for the power and the influence that Rotary Youth Exchange can have.
Hello, my name is Aline Silva Montenegro. I'm from Brazil, and I am 18 years old.
How did you get involved in Youth Exchange?
I get involved with the Youth Exchange program because in Brazil, my parents, they are Rotarians, so they figured out about the program, and I always want to do exchange, and I always want to learn English, so that's why I did the test and everything.
Okay, great. And once you got here, you're going to which school?
I'm going to Shorecrest.
And how is that working out?
That is very cool. I love this school. Everything is like a movie. I find amazing friends that I really want to bring with me until lifetime. And yeah, That was hard in the beginning, but now I'm very settled.
Okay, and I know that you love to sing. Have you had an opportunity to sing while you've been here?
Yeah, like one of the reasons that I came here is to learn English because I want to be fluent because I love to sing in English. So yeah, I had opportunities here. I'm a choir and I sing Sweet Serenade. It's an event that the choir do and the talent show. So yeah, I had opportunities.
Okay, great. And what have you done with your host family since you've been here?
Okay, so my host family, they're amazing. I love them so much. I'm my second host family. My first was amazing too, but now I'm my second one, and I get very involved with them. I went to Leavenworth and I could see snow for the first time. I went to California. I went to Canada this last week. There was a spring break, so we did a lot of stuff with them.
And when you go back home to Brazil, what are you going to take with you? What have you learned from this program?
So I'm gonna bring the friendships, all the experience, all that I met here, all that I know now, and I really want to get like contact with my host family forever. And one of them is my host sister. Her name is Anya, and I'm going to bring her with me in my suitcase.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Hello, my name is.
So there you go. So here is just to refer to the video again. When she got here, I helped welcome her. Her English was okay, but not terrific. And you can see how fluent she is now, how confident she is. She mentioned all the high points of Rotary Youth Exchange, the friendships, the life-affirming adventures that she's had with her host family, the memories and friendships that she'll bring back with her to Brazil. And we just know these things happen through Youth Exchange. So if you want to be energized by a young person involved with your club and involved with your members, please consider joining us in providing these types of opportunities for young people and to help grow Rotary around the world. So, Rotary loves organization, and remember, it was founded by a lawyer. So there's plenty of organization in Rotary, and there is organization in Rotary Youth Exchange. Rotary Youth Exchange District 5030 is a corporation. The district governor appoints the chairman of Rotary Youth Exchange, which is myself, and we have structure that has served us well to protect the youth and to help the club do its good job with Youth Exchange. I'm going to look at these points here, the bullet points. The first one, the club will need to have a Youth Exchange officer, but that's not always required for the summer program. The Youth Exchange officer is basically the liaison between the club and the district Youth Exchange committee. Youth Exchange officers can be involved with vetting host families and doing some home inspections and enforcing the youth protection policy. The club will need to have a counselor appointed by the club. The counselor is basically I'm going to call it chaperone is not the right word, but the club counselor is the main contact between the Youth Exchange student, the host family, and the club. The club counselor needs to be vetted through the usual background checks, needs to take an examination, open book test actually on Rotary Youth Protection policies, and is kind of the person that the Youth Exchange student will look to in the event of a difficulty, perhaps a question about not getting along too well with the host family or whatever it happens to be. Remember, these are teenagers. They are away from home. Issues are going to come up, although on a short-term exchange like the summer program, there are not too many issues. But each club will need to have a Rotary Youth counselor, and we will help you make that happen. The club president, of course, is involved in Rotary Youth Exchange. Both the Youth Exchange officer and the club counselor report to the president. The president also must participate in youth protection training that is afforded by the district. Other supports can happen on the right hand side. The outbound student that you'll be sending on their portion of the summer exchange will be known to the club. The club will interview that student and their family before you agree to sponsor that student for Rotary Youth Exchange. The inbound student coming to your district, hopefully, I'm coming to your club, I should say, hopefully will be hosted to at least a couple of events, a couple of meetings, or any social events that you have at the club level. Please include the inbound student. There are also Rotex students, which I'm going to mention for the first time. These are kind of the alumni. Many clubs who have been involved with Youth Exchange keep track of their alumni, many of whom wind up joining Rotaract. And the alumni, students called Rotex here, which is returning exchange student, that's the acronym for that, can also play a big part in not hosting the student, but helping the student acclimate to a new culture and to a host family. Finally, then, the two organizations that we've got within Rotary Youth Exchange are the short-term summer program that we're speaking about now and the long-term program. Also down in the corner, this is our website, Rotary Youth Exchange Program 5030.org. Has lots more information about the program, about the application forms, about the vetting process, and the steps that need to be taken to have a successful exchange. Next slide. We have a terrific database. The clubs will certainly get involved with this. This is a database in which all information, application forms, host family interviews, travel itineraries, counselor reports about home exchange inspections, all of the information about this exchange will be stored in one easy place. Myself, other officials in the Rotary Youth Exchange Committee, as well as Rotary International, has access to the data that is stored in this YEAH database. We will show you how to use it. It's very intuitive, and it takes the paper out of Rotary Youth Exchange. We used to love many pages of applications, paper applications, and paper documents flying around. All of this now is done online, and it is easy to use. Next slide. Here's a timeline for your first student, and this is kind of not a month by month, but gives you an idea of what it will take to bring your first student. So Rotary Youth Exchange is basically shut down now for the 2019-2020 Rotary year. All exchanges have been canceled, and not many districts are going to be doing any exchanges this summer. But there's plenty for us to do. Let's just take a look going from kind of the top row left to right. Basically, if you're interested, let's get together sometime before the end of this Rotary year, in June perhaps, and we'll start talking to you about building your youth exchange team at your club. We'll be happy to help you do this with conversations at the club level and at the board level. July and August, develop a marketing plan to schools and to Interact Club in your area. And also we can talk about using neighborhood blogs, which many neighborhoods have, to get the word out about the opportunities available through Rotary Youth Exchange. August and September, the start of school, hopefully start of school, you want to make your outreach to your Interact Club liaison. Hopefully it's also a member of your own club, so that should be easy to do. And to arrange a visit to go to the school, to meet with the Interact advisor, and perhaps also with some language faculty at the school to get the word out about the opportunities with Rotary, with Youth Exchange. And then again in September, you're still doing some marketing. You're going to Interact meetings as often as they'll let you come. We do have very attractive marketing materials and information materials that you can leave with the students. You can also refer them to our website, which will keep them interested, and they can download the application form off of the website, and the process begins. In October through December, we will be receiving applications, from students over our YEAH system, the YEAH database system. Applications will come in over that system. Your club will be charged with the responsibility of interviewing these students. You want to be sure that you think that they're capable of managing of a month away from home in another culture, and probably with in another language and new foods. We have very good questions for you to ask of these students, and also of their families. So there's a requirement that the club sponsor formally through a piece of paper called a guarantee form, in which the club basically says, yes, we believe that this student from our club, selected by us and vetted by us, will be a successful youth exchange participant. Then in January of 2021 through August, there'll be another interview process at the district level, where all of the applicants who have been vetted and approved by the clubs come together for district interviews, in which we at the Rotary Youth Exchange Committee level interview those students and those parents, and then make our selections, because the district also has to stand behind these applicants that have come to us. What, of course, we want to avoid as much as we can are difficulties and problems down the road. Remember, these are teenagers. They're going through lots of changes, physically and mentally, and sometimes Rotary Youth Exchange can be a stressful situation, and sometimes it doesn't work out. But we try to do our very best to send to foreign countries the best of our students that we believe will have successful exchanges and come away having a wonderful exchange. So that's kind of it. Exchanges begin in July and August. Soon after our district interviews in the springtime, we will begin to make the placements. So if the students want to go to Italy or Spain or Taiwan or Hong Kong or Brazil or Argentina or wherever it happens to be in the world where Rotary Youth Exchange is, our committee will reach out to those countries, to Rotarians in those countries, and get those students placed. Then we will connect the families together via Skype and via Zoom. And by the time the student leaves for their exchange, they're already pretty good friends. It's just amazing what we've got with this technology today. So there'll be very few surprises when the student arrives in the foreign country. They've probably seen their own room. They've met the family. They have some idea of what's going to happen when they get there. All of this leads to a successful exchange. That's our first year. Very good. Brian, next slide. The Rotary Youth Exchange Committee, as I mentioned, is the chair, which is myself, appointed by the district governor. We've got folks from other Rotary clubs who were very active with us for many, many years, and we will support your club in getting you launched to Rotary Youth Exchange. You can see here on these circles, interlocking circles, the club's responsibility is to have a youth exchange officer, although not always required for the summer program, but certainly the counselor we need to have, and we need to have the president on board as well. So we will have meetings with all of you to get you involved and to answer all of your questions and to pave the way for successful youth exchange. At our level, the district level, we have a country officer. The country officer is responsible for placing your student who wants to go to a foreign country. We will make the connection with that Rotary club in that Rotary district in that country, send the application there. We will receive their application back from them for their student that's going to be part of this, and we will support you every which way to pave the way for an easy exchange. There'll be no surprises along this. Of course, the students are important. We need to have, obviously, motivated students who want to do this. And we need to have support from their parents who want them to do this. That's very important, because the students' parents will also act as the host parent for the other student. Remember, this is a two-way family exchange. So one family is sending their kid overseas to visit another family, and that family is sending their kid back to your home with your student. They travel together on the same flight, and so they come back here to the States, to your Rotary Club, and all of our efforts are geared to having this be successful and running smoothly. Next slide. Students are future Rotarians. There is no doubt about that. I have spoken to many Rotarians around the world in my duties. I've spoken to many Rotaractors. I've spoken to many students, of course, and we know that a pathway to Rotary membership and to positions high in Rotary can often start with our youth programs. Youth Exchange is one of them. You've already heard about Interact. Hopefully you know about RILA, you know about Rotaract, and now you know more about Youth Exchange. These four programs together are the future of Rotary, the future of Rotary members. And these young people, by the time they get to the Rotary Club, they may have had many years of actual Rotary affiliation. Just think how much more effective they will be as club members, because they've been to Rotary meetings before, and in foreign countries, and in different languages. It's a recipe for a successful future of Rotary International. Actually, I should say something about this. You're probably saying, what are those jackets those kids are wearing? Well, one of the great traditions of Rotary Youth Exchange is the blazer. And you're looking at some kids here. These are from our district. Actually, there are three. I can't identify them because of youth protection policies, but I can assure you they were hosted in our district, and they have on their blazers pins from their travels, from Rotary clubs that they have visited, from cities that they have visited. And I'm not saying there's a competition about who's got the best blazer, but some of these are really pretty outstanding. The picture to the right of that was some exchange students that Susan and I hosted at our home a couple of summers ago. It was so thrilling to see young people from around the world gathering here with our local kids that we were sending out. They were bonding, setting up plans to be friends, down the road, and maybe even Rotarians down the road. It is a wonderfully inspiring thing to be part of Rotary Youth Exchange. Next slide. Host families. This is a big deal. A big part of the Rotary Youth Exchange experience is for the student to become part of a family. For the short-term program, it's part of a family for a month. But in that month, a lot of information is being exchanged and received and processed as this foreign student comes to your home, learning about how the American family works, the kind of foods that we eat, the things that we do for recreation, how do you do your laundry, what do you do in the morning. All these things are wonderful experiences, and host families, by and large, are a huge part of this. They provide the room and the board. They provide the recreational opportunities. The young person who's with them for the 30-day period is a full-fledged member of the family, and we hear wonderful stories about places these kids have gone to on family vacations. It's really just heartening. So hopefully you can find some host families within your own club, but maybe not. Remember, Rotary Youth Exchange is open to everybody, not just the families of Rotary, but everybody in the community. And who knows, you may be able to attract some new members by their being host families themselves. Now, maybe not knowing anything about Rotary, but after Rotary Youth Exchange, they'll know a lot about Rotary, and they may want to participate with you in your club activities and become members. Next slide. So this is a little schematic. I hope this makes some sense. This is kind of building your family, club, and Rotary through Rotary Youth Exchange. So up in the left-hand corner there, we've got our student. She's got her bags, two big bags that she has brought with her. Going to the right, she's met by her host family. There's another foreign exchange. No, there she is, right there in the middle. So that's her host family. So she spends a couple of days, and then she moves to the right, and she meets some young kids, some other kids her age, because they're the friends of her host family's child, or I should say peer, I guess. Anyway, the kids get together, and they're bonding. They're bonding already. Then down to the right, lower right, he or she goes to a Rotary meeting where she sees, Rotary in action. And then to the left of that, we see a Rotary counselor of a larger club that has a number of exchange students going on. And so there's the Rotary counselor with some exchange students. And then to the far left again is a gathering of Rotary Youth Exchange students at a district conference. And this is building the image, the facts, and the relationships that can be built around Rotary Youth Exchange to enhance your club, to certainly enhance the experiences of the young people who are involved in Rotary Youth Exchange, and hopefully to build Rotary membership in years ahead. Next slide. What does this cost? Okay, a big thing for the clubs. For the short program, the summer program, there is no hard dollar cost to the club. We would hope that you can host this student and the host family for one or two Rotary meetings, and if there's a meal involved, hopefully you will pay the costs for that. The cost for the students to go on Rotary Youth Exchange, there's a $500 Youth Exchange Committee administration fee, which helps us run our program, to rent the facilities that we have to rent, for interviews and orientations. The host family pays for the round trip airfare for their kid to go on this program, and also the other cost for the host family is the cost of providing room and board to the inbound student that they will be hosting. There's no compensation paid by Rotary to host families. It is just not allowed, and we have never done it. I should say also that we at Rotary Youth Exchange, of course, are participants of the District Rotary Youth Exchange, the District Youth Protection Policy. And so we are very careful to interview families who are going to be host parents. Everybody in the household over the age of 18 is subject to criminal background check, a nationwide criminal background check. The Rotarian, who's the club counselor, will go to the proposed host family's home to be sure that it is clean and orderly and safe for a student to spend a month there. So that's how we are very keen on youth protection at Rotary Youth Exchange. Next slide. The longer term program, even though we're concentrating on the summer program to help Rotary clubs get involved with the program, you may have an opportunity to think about hosting and sponsoring a kid for the longer academic program. It's a more vigorous responsibility for the club, and it also costs money, hard dollar costs to the club, as you can see on the slide here. The Rotary Club is required to give a monthly stipend to the visiting student for as long as they're here. Mostly that's about $150 a month is the general going rate. we asked the Rotary Club to sponsor the student to the district conference to get them registered. Some Rotary clubs also voluntarily help pay for extracurricular activities that their long-term student may be involved with. This is not required. The cost for the student's family. So let's say you have a student, they want to go on Rotary Youth Exchange for the whole academic year. You can see the costs there. Typically speaking, it's about $8,000 when you add everything all together for the family to pay. A big part of that is the open-ended round-trip ticket, which the State Department requires, that is provided for the student, which means they can return home at any time in case of a family emergency or something else, or like a pandemic, for example. So there's those are the costs there. Next slide. Youth Exchange contacts. So I am Hal Beals. I'm the chairman of Rotary Youth Exchange Committee. My right-hand person for many years is Jeff Owen, a member of the Mill Creek Rotary Club. Jeff and I together will work with you and your club to get you interested in the summer exchange program for Rotary Youth Exchange, and to help you rebuild or build for the first time your activities with Rotary Youth Exchange. Remember, it is one of the pillars of building Rotary for the future. Rotary Youth Exchange, along with Interact, RYLA, and Rotaract, are the four cornerstones, I believe, of a successful Rotary in the future. Young people will energize you, energize your club, and just be a blessing to all of us. So thank you very much. I'm sure we have some time for some questions, which I'll be happy to answer.
I would. Thank you, Hal. And I just wanted to mention Jeff Owen is on the call. And so Jeff, do you have any words to say?
I think Hal covered it pretty well. It's a matter of getting involved with the students, and if you go in September to their club meetings with Interact, you could probably introduce the program to the students directly, and then they'll do all the work for us.
Excellent. Well, thank you. We do have some questions here. So, and we also had. What I'd like to do is unmute you if you have you've posted your questions, and then I can go through and you can ask the question yourself, just so we get a little more participation here. But already 50% of the questions are the same question. So you clearly missed one item here, and that was the minimum and maximum age of the student participants.
Gosh, I'm a terrible presenter. Okay, the minimum age is 15 years of age at the start of the exchange. So you can interview a kid that's 14, but by the time they leave, they've got to be 15, and the maximum age is 18. So they can't, if they're still 18 when they leave, that's okay, but they can't be 19 when they leave. So 15 to 18 are the ages.
Excellent. And Earl Wayne Gott had a point that he mentioned regarding Rotex. And so Earl, do you want to bring up your point?
Well,
I'm putting everybody on the spot.
Use at Fashion. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What we do at Fashion with Rotex and host families is that every fall we have a barbecue to acknowledge their efforts, and it also serves as a way of finding out, okay, who do they think would be the next candidate for an outbound student, and also what families are available that might be host families. So it honors what they've done, but also helps us recruit the next phase of outbounds.
Thank you.
I should say that Ryan, can you hear me? My
Yes,
little box
yes.
is not lit up. So perfect. Okay. So Earl, thank you very much for that terrific response. I should say Vashon Island is they and Shoreline are our most active Rotary Youth Exchange clubs. Both of them do an outstanding job. And I think Vashon is blessed by being on an island, and so they have wonderful communications with students and families and with alumni of Rotary Youth Exchange. And Earl, thank you for chiming in. That was terrific.
Then Howard Cohen, our district governor nominee, he had a question.
Hey, Hal and Ryan. Hal, you did a great job. I was
Thank
really,
you.
every time I listened to you, I learned more and more and more. So it was wonderful. What do we do to encourage both inbound and outbound youth exchange students to join Rotary? And do we ever do any future follow-up a year later, months later, or sometime? So often you hear these people who are Rotary fellows or Rotary ambassadors, and the very small minority of them are actually Rotarians.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
as you mentioned right up front in the beginning, these people are the future of Rotary.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we do, and what do we do to encourage that?
That's a great question. I think at our district level, and you just heard from Earl on Vashon, what they do. But I would have to say that I think Rotary International has some responsibility for this, to be honest with you. They're the ones who kind of keep, the master records. And so going back many years, they've got, lists of people who have been on Rotary Youth Exchange. And so I really can't answer fully your question. I can say that in our district, we probably have not done the job we should have to keep track of these young people as they move around. And of course, as they move around, we kind of lose track of them anyway. Hopefully Rotary can do, a better job for us. So that's not a complete answer, but it's the best one I've got. And you do bring up an interesting point that we could do much better in this activity.
I think Earl had a follow-up comment.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Oh shoot, my thing just
We
had
can
a
hear
little
you.
problem here. Here we go. I'm back. Okay. Small problem. I'm doing it on my phone. No, we involved the previous students, the Rotexers, in the interview process to help us go through the process of selecting the next outbound students and get them hooked up with Rotaract clubs that if they're off to university, after they come back, find out the Rotaract club that's nearest to wherever they're going to school is a big help to get them back into the Rotary, get involved in Rotary. My wife wants to make a comment, but she's on the computer and it's having problems. So I'm going to let her ask her question over my phone.
Well, okay, great. This is Pamela who's going to be speaking.
Right. I just wanted to say a few years ago, we had several students, 2 or 3 of our students that wanted to go for the summer program overseas. And so they all got accepted and they went to different countries. I think one was in Italy and one in the Netherlands, and I can't remember if one was in Spain or not. Anyway, they then came back and each brought their individual student with them for the month back in the United States. And they would then get together for parties, and they'd come to our Rotary meetings and to special events and dinners and things. And so everybody got to know one another, not only their own student and the host family, but the other students that were involved in the exchange as well. And it worked out really well. And they were great then for promoting it the following year. They had so much fun with it, and it just really made other people want to sign up for it as well.
Excellent. Oh, thank you for the comment.
Yeah. Once again, Vashon Island does a fabulous job of keeping in touch with people, social events, and I think they're the kind of the template for other Rotary clubs to follow. Your club will be energized, I promise you, by having young people attend your meetings and to be part of your projects and to be kind of part of your Rotary lives. And in sharing yourselves with them, they will be more interested in becoming Rotarians, and to put it even broader than that, better citizens of the world, because you have given them a dose of the culture of the United States at the family level. And in today's interesting political times, these examples or opportunities of person-to-person diplomacy are very important. And so please join us in Rotary Youth Exchange.
Got an additional question from Ajay. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so hello, I'm Ajay Yadav, one of the Rotaractor from Nepal. So I found this presentation absolutely amazing, and it was quite sad to know that it's only for the Interactor, and I'm a Rotaractor. I recently joined Rotaract Club. So I wanted to know if there is an exchange program, especially for the Rotaractors who want to get the experience of this exchange program, because this is something absolutely amazing. I really love this concept. So I wonder if there is any program for Rotaractors, a similar exchange program.
Yeah.
Thank you, and the presentation is amazing.
So, yeah, is there an exchange program for Rotaractors?
You know, there is not an exchange program for Rotaractors at the Rotary International level. I do know that that there's a pilot project here. Perhaps if Kathy Gibson or Mike Madden want to jump on, or maybe get this gentleman's name and number and contact him later, because there's a pilot project going on, I think, at the Rotary Club of Issaquah, who has put together kind of a young professionals exchange. I don't know if it's available to Rotaractors or not, but sir, I can't answer your question. I do not believe there's a formal youth exchange program with Rotaractors, but I think people are working on some version of it.
Bill McElroy.
Yes, let me follow through with that, Hal.
Yeah, thank you.
The Issaquah one you're talking about is young professionals. It's on hold at the moment because of COVID, but it's really a great concept, and that is that it brings in exactly what it says, young professionals into exchange type program into a foreign country. Right now it's Japan, and they get maybe 6 to 7 young professionals that are already in business, and they go over to Japan and they get to experience the host families, they get to experience business, they get to experience a lot hands-on for a week, just for a week, and then they fly back, and then their counterparts fly into the United States, and they stay with their host families there for a week, and they get to, and these people get to enjoy their host families, get to be in the businesses, see businesses, so it's more of a business relation type of thing, and that's why it's the Young Professional Exchange Program. It is a pilot program. It is being tried, and the Issaquah Club is leading it right now, and it's in its second year. Of course, it's on hold because of the COVID, but this is something that the district is excited about. So I think it's something worth. If you want more information, just contact the Issaquah Club, and they'll point you to the right person.
Thank you, Bill. We had a question from Stefan Landvogt. Are you able to unmute, or should I just ask? I can just ask the question. As I see you're still muted. I'll just ask the question. Do the host families have to be Rotarians?
No. Host families do not have to be Rotarians. The students do not have to be families of Rotarians either.
Okay. And let's see. I have another one from JP Mehar. One sec.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Hey, had I known that there were opportunities like this when I was a kid, my imagination would have soared. But I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, and it might have taken a couple of years. But if there's a way we can get the message to elementary school kids, or at least junior high kids, that there are opportunities that are available if they want. And I think I would have wanted, but I never knew. So is there a way to get in a seminal, because our educational facilities are very protective, thank God for that. But is there a way to kind of message of hope and good cheer, please excuse my puppies, that our imaginations can lift us to other countries while we were in high school, but we need to start early.
Great comments. I think our efforts to work with Interact clubs, the 20 Interact clubs in our district, so we're down to maybe even the junior high school level. We're going to really work hard in the coming year to visit all those clubs. Also, I think we have a wonderful marketing opportunity, not just for Youth Exchange, but for basically all the youth programs of Rotary, with the use of neighborhood blogs. I mean, many neighborhoods have them, and you've got to be a member in that neighborhood to be on this blog. But and I've never used one myself, so I can't give you any personal experience. But all kinds of messages and solicitations and offers and other stuff go out over these things. Certainly, a message about the opportunities for young people through the Rotary programs of Interact, RILA, Youth Exchange, and Rotaract would not hurt. It may be something really to consider.
Mike Madden had a comment, question.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. And I appreciate what Hal and Bill said about the Young Professionals Exchange. It is a pilot program, and it is directed at Rotaractors. Frequently, Rotaractors in other countries belong to community-based clubs, so they're already out of university and into their first jobs. But if Ake can send his
he just did
contact information to me, I put my email in chat. Except I need to touch up that email address. I'll get him in touch with Brett Tauscher over at Issaquah. I'll fix that email address. Thank you.
This is amazing, right? So we had a visitor here to our program from Nepal. I mean, there's the power of Rotary for you right there in a nutshell. And here, in a matter of a few clicks of a mouse, we've got Mike with a correct email address connected to a guy from Nepal who's going to connect him to a guy in Issaquah who's going to work on a young professionals program. I mean, this is Rotary in action right here.
I had one question is, how do you match, like, say, how do you end up going, like, if you want to go to France and instead, you have to do an exchange in North Korea or something? How?
Well, that would not happen. So this is a family to family exchange. So basically, if and placing students for the summer program in France is not hard to do. So we would make the connection to the French Rotary district that we do business with, and we would say to them, hey, we've got 3 young people who want to come your way. We're sending the applications to you over the YAY system. Let us know, if you can take them, and in turn, of course, we will take your 3 students, to come back our way. So it's a family to family exchange. There's no possible way of having, the kid go to Japan and then the host and then a kid from Korea comes back, to that same family here in the States. It's just not going to happen.
Great. Well, I don't see any other questions or any hands raised. So I assume that means our program's over. Any last comments, Hal?
Other than take a chance. If you're not involved with the Rotary Youth Exchange now, I think you're missing out. It is a program going on since 1928. Thousands and thousands of kids go on this every year, many of whom will be introduced to Rotary for the very first time, and their parents introduced to Rotary for the very first time. It is a membership building opportunity. It is a peace building opportunity, and it is an opportunity to live up to the mission of Rotary. So please contact Jeff or myself. We'll be happy to work with you and ease you in to an adventure of your life, a chance for a life-changing event for a young person, but also perhaps a changing event for your own Rotary Club. So thank you very much for your attention, and I really appreciate speaking with you today.
Oh, thank you all, and all sorts of nice comments came in. So very, very well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, goodbye, everyone. And I'm going to try not to look confused when I'm figuring out how to close the program here. So there, end.